Good afternoon, Professor. I am going to present the timeline of the loss causality models. The context will be exposed on the timeline. Loss causation models. History context. Apparently, the field will document application of concept of accident causation is that of the DuPont Company, founded in 1802, with a strong emphasis on accident prevention and mitigation, claimed 2009 in an article titled 2 Centuries of Process Safety at DuPont, reported that the company founded el DuPont 1772 and 1834. Remarked that we must try to understand the danger with that life for 120 years there have been gradual improvements in the design in operation process in explosive factories. Main in the principle of model accident prevention theory were formulated in this period. Edward W. Heinrich, prevention of occupational accidents in the years 1920. The history of crash model, the date can be traced from the 1920 is through three distinct phases: simple linear models, complex linear models, complex nonlinear models. In 1915, the Blois goal of zero injuries. The Blois, the first hit of DuPont Safety Division hazard removal, was recognized as the priority in 1950. In the world of zero injuries was all said at the time among all the safety management initiatives that were still they considered appropriate in the 30 company safety programs. DuPont Safety Division was established its engineer department in 1915 in the country plan inspection. In 1931, accident prevention, the Edward Heinrich prevention. The history of accident modeling it goes back to Herbert original work. Heinrich was book Prevention of Occupational Accidents and 1931 became the first guide work on the understanding of accidents. The first sequential model the accident was the domino effect. It was based on the fact the occurrence of a preventable injury is the natural combination of a series of events or circumstances which invariably occur fixed or logical order. In Edward Heinrich's prevention of work accident domino effect, based on the domino model, accident could prevent be removed one the factor and thus interrupt in the effect. Heinrich proposed that unsafe acts in mechanic hazard were the central factor in the accident sequence, and the removal of this central factor rendered the previous factor ineffective. In 1949, epidemiology models in Gordon 1949 1949. The models of epidemiologic accident go back the study of disease epidemic in the search for causal factors around their development. Gordon, 1949, recognized that injuries, unlike diseases, are still susceptible of this approach, which means that understanding of accidents will benefit from recognizing that accidents are caused or combination of the force or administrative sources, which are the host and the man in the host, the main interest, the agent him, and the environment in the which and the agent local. In the years 1975, 10 seconds model, Bernard, in 1975, identified 4 problems that were not addressed in the basic accident. The need to present events that occurred on sequential timeline. 3. The need for structured method to discover the relevant factors involved. The 4. The need those graphical methods or definite condition binary generalities. 10 second model is in an example of the time sequence model that address binary for recurring. In 1985 is a Lewis model, a reason. Unlike the modeling work under Heinrich in 1931 and Beer in the German in 1985, reason did not specify what these holes represent is what the various layers of cheese represented. The model left us professional with their or investigation into what factors within the organization deal these elements with be. The Swiss cheese model was a component of a more complete model that they call the reason system security model. In 1991, energy dam model in Wiener in 1991. The initial statement of the concept of energy dam in the literature often attribute the Gibson 1961, but Wiener 1991 understands it to be the result of discussion based with Gibson, Hardon, or the others. The energy damage models is based on the assumption that damage injury is the result of incident. Energy was intensity at the point of contact with the receptor except the receptor jam threshold. In 1995 is functional reason accident model of Eric Olnagel. Eric Olnagel is one of the most progressive research in the area of the accident model in the understand causal factors. He describes system model as threat, coupled and the words of organization as moving from setting up barrier and defense to causing on system camp on monitoring and controlling and variation, and perhaps allowing a system to be tolerant of human error. In 2010, complexity in accident model. Decker in 2011 takes the complex in 2010 implication for his practice Hobden Albrechtsen Herrera. Hobden Albrechtsen And Herrera noted that the OO's professional move differently between modeling in the methods that might or might not supported be theoretical models. For example, second-tier models inform some of the traditional form of accident analysis, such as event trees, fault tests, and critical path models. In 2011, complexity in accident model. Decker in 2011 takes the complexity discussion further to challenge the notion of accident model in the predictive, in the technology, ability of accident models, describing the complexity in society and technology. Decker considers that the growth of complexity in society has outpaced her understanding of how complex systems work and fail. Her technologies have outpaced her theories. Her theories remain fundamentally reduction, componential, and linear. Thank you.